True,
Life
true.
is very different, but it's quite exciting, I must say.
Quite exciting. True, true, true. So thank you for considering our request and giving your valuable time to our students. I think during this particular time and that too on a weekday, you are giving us time. It's a really pleasure and really thanks from our side.
Thanks. I think thanks for inviting in the first place, and I think it's always a pleasure to interact and get associated with some of the young guys who are bright young guys who are going to be the future leaders. So it's going to be very
True,
very exciting.
true, true, true,
So
true.
nice of you, sir.
Definitely, yes. And
I
how's
thought of not taking any chances because my some laptop really gives away, So I thought of one of my colleagues, Narsimhan, is also here, and he said that I've ensured that it's going to stay for the rest of the day. This thing.
it's okay.
So I'm sorry, Amit. Just this thing. How much time do we have? We have 1 hour. We have 45 minutes. We have what is the time we have?
So initially we have planned for 40-45 minutes, followed by say Q&A for another 15-20 minutes. 10
Okay,
to
so
15 minutes.
say 4 to 5.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so then what I'll do is around 45-50 minutes is what I'll speak about, and I'll pace the presentation accordingly, and
Sure, sir.
then the next 10 minutes for any questions, any suggestions, anything. I think we can take all that on board.
Sure, sir. Sure, sir.
Yeah. Thanks, Nidhi. Thanks for setting up everything.
Pleasure, sir.
We were in the midst of some meetings, some urgent meetings, and some of these things. I had to reschedule it. This is normally the safest time which I give for any such activities which I do. But sometimes even they get breached. Sometimes this time is also not safe. But in fact, I have told people that I'm not going to be available from around 4 to 6 or so. So you have students who specialize in. You have a course which is a retail management course, right?
This program. So it is a full 2-year AICT approved program, and it's called as a PGDM in retail management.
Rajiv, sir, we cannot hear you.
Yeah. Oh, I thought I
Sorry,
was the
sorry.
only one who was not able to. Yeah.
No, actually, his voice was audible through Amit
So,
sir's laptop.
Vallabhji, this like a PGDM RM, we call it postgraduate diploma in management and retail management in basically. So this course is almost like we are the first college in India to start with, and we are almost like now 16 years we are in this particular program,
Wow.
and this is completely 2-year fully residential AICT approved with all NAC and BEER accreditations, and we have an intake of 60 students each year, and
Wow.
they are prepared basically in the area of retail with all like kind of an on job training, so all like application side also is being taught to them, and now they are being prepared even for looking after the new what is called the generation requirements of even analytics and all, so they are being prepared from that angle also. So
Okay.
and
Okay.
so this is like, so you'll be like you'll be talking to those people only. So they are mostly are from retail batch only, and then the marketing batch is also there.
Okay. Fantastic. Fantastic. No, I think I always see curiosity when there is a retail batch, because they know that they are going to start their career a few months or so, and then so they have some of the relevant questions. But I think marketing is also a good audience to have.
True,
It's
true,
always
true.
good.
So how's the business going? How's the market at this moment? How do you see like post COVID? What's the reverberation going in the market?
Well, if somebody asked me this question, I said, what COVID? COVID is all behind us. For people like
True.
us, I think we found our own ways of handling COVID, and we found our own ways of actually bringing our business back on track.
True,
So
true.
this subject actually literally applies to us, embracing
Yes.
era in retail, but more so post-COVID. I think it's really something which some of the retailers like us have actually accelerated the pace of going online, or making a hybrid model and all of that. So that's something, because it's a matter of your existence. Suddenly your format starts seeing 50% less footfall or 30% less footfall. There is a question on your profitability. So it's you find your own ways out. So I think we've all in our own ways, and Reliance, of course, where I'm, it's one of the, we've always had one of the most proactive approaches or fastest approach to. So I think we are
Very
back.
true,
In fact,
very
we are
true.
back with a bang.
Great.
We started looking growths.
Yes.
The-
So I've been following that actually. I'm looking through and I'm following that regularly. I think that's so, but because we were like little apprehensions over there, I think before the festive season, maybe like September and October beginning, I think the things are not looking pretty well. But I think now, I think markets have opened up. My markets are showing up, I think.
Yes, and absolutely. So when it comes to grocery buying, in fact, we to be very honest with you, and at some point of time, if possible, in some different this thing, we can have we could have a session on that. The mix has changed permanently.
Okay.
The consumption has changed for all of us. The buying pattern has changed. The customer insights or customer buying trends have changed. So it's very different. If you see a year back and today, I think our business is back to normal, but the mix is absolutely different. So just giving you an example, if you if you happen to be at home and if you cook yourself, you are going to buy the most premium oil to cook yourself. You are not going to buy, while what you get from a hotel or from somewhere, a eatery from outside, you don't know which oil they use. But so premiumization has happened over a period of time. It's a auto premiumization which has happened. But you buy the best of the oil for yourself because you're conscious about it. So all these things, there are so many trends which we have seen, and it's a fantastic journey. I think as retail practitioners, I think we've added a decade of experience in the last 1 year. I must say that.
Okay. So I just had a word with Sanjay Narsaria. I don't like him, Sanjay. So he spoke a lot about you today morning only. I had a word with him, and he was saying, you have invited him. Why not? I'm also should be there in that particular matter. So we'll call you both of you together. And,
absolutely. No, I think Sanjay is. We worked in ABRL together.
Yes. So he
was a fantastic operator. He was one of the best operators I've seen during those days and all that. So it's always good to have, and probably I think now that we work for different organizations, we could bring in some very, very interesting perspectives together. I think that will be very, very good.
Yes. We'll be happy to host you again, sir. And I think for the session today we will have this session, and then let's talk to the students again. And we'll be happy to have you here again, sir.
Sure.
Great.
My pleasure.
Nidhi, we can start, and students will keep joining in. I think let's. Yes, 4:34. Yeah.
Sure, sir. So hello.
So once again, sir, just Vallabh, Nidhi. Thank you, Vallabh, sir. Again, our pleasure having you. And I think now I'm handing over to Nidhi to start with the session, sir.
Thank you, sir. So hello everyone, my name is Nidhi Bharadwaj and I welcome you all in today's session with industry expert where we will discuss about the new trends in retail. Digitizing the shelf will soon be the standard for bricks and mortar stores as consumer demands change. Music, travel, film, banking, digitization has transformed industry across the world. Now the time has come for the change in traditional brick and mortar stores. As major technology player disrupts the physical retail market, stores large and small must innovate and think like digitally native companies. This means that retailers and CPGs need to be agile and responsive to customer needs and requests in order to improve the shopper experience and to drive sales. On this note, we would like to hear it out from our esteemed guest today. I take this opportunity to introduce him to the students, Mr. Vallabh Saudagar, Senior Vice President and Group Business Head, Reliance Retail. Mr. Vallabh is a FMCG retail veteran with over 27 years experience working with reputed organizations like Wipro Consumer Care, Dabur India, Revlon, Godrej, Aditya Birla Retail, and Reliance Retail. He is a senior leader and has earned the reputation of successfully turning around the businesses with his winning strategies and tactics. His core competence is buying and merchandising, sales, marketing, branch management, and supply chain. He worked as a merchandise director, FMCG, with Aditya Birla Retail in his last assignment. Currently, he is Senior Vice President and Group Business Head, FMCG and Fresh Foods in Reliance Retail. We are privileged to have you with us today, and we welcome you to the CXO Talk. Over to you, Vallabh sir.
Okay, thank you, Nidhi, and namaste to all of you. I think it's a pleasure, to be being here and having a chat with all of you guys. And to be very honest, I am not as big as all that she said about me. I am a simple retailer, serving my customers, and that's about it. I think we are sevaks to our customers, and I think that is what we take pride about. I think that's what retail is about. It teaches you humility, it teaches you humbleness. So with all humility, you all, for giving me this opportunity. I think next 35. I'm sorry. Is somebody saying something? I'm sorry. Yeah.
No,
so in all, the next 35-40 minutes of this interaction is going to be from a perspective of a retail practitioner. These are my views. You may take them with a pinch of salt, or you may take them the way you perceive them, because there is nothing right or wrong in retail. We all understand our customers, but I think the first thing which I always believe and practice is a customer first attitude, or serve the customer attitude, and that is something which takes you a long way in your successful retail journey. So for students and practitioners of future leaders of retail, I think I'll just start with a small anecdote. And for me, this topic is very, very interesting because we've lived this life in the last 8 or 9 months. So let me start with a small anecdote. A small story which actually I did not realize the importance of that story then when I was young. Not that I'm very old today, but still, when I, few years back, I come from a very humble background. I come from a very small place near Mumbai. Me, my dad, my mom, my younger brother, and we had a retailer, a small mom and pop store called Shanta Kirana store next to our place. It's very interesting. This person, he had a very, very small shop then. There are just 200 square feet shop. But he used to, we love him because he knew us personally. He used to give us credit. He used to give us all that we wanted. Sometimes he used to offer us some occasional discounts also. Or sometimes he used to give a small pack of chocolate and we used to love it. So this guy, during this time, my opinion is very, and I'll talk about it more, right? So this guy, once my father and me, we went to his shop and we were buying something, and he said, "Uncle ji, last month ne आपके सामान की list नहीं आई." Everybody's comfortable with Hindi? I can, yeah. So आपके सामान की लिस्ट नहीं आई, आपकी monthly purchases के, you did not give me the monthly. So my father said, यार कुछ 2-3 चीजें मुझे नहीं जो चाहिए थी, जो नहीं मिली तुम्हारे पास. So I thought I'll buy from somewhere else. And he was also very. So he said, tell me which product are you talking of? So my father said कि एक chiseling है और एक संतूर talc, which my mom used to, because I worked with Wipro, so my mom used to use it. So he said next day he said कि uncle आपकी वो product मैंने लाके रख दी है. So it starts from there. It starts with giving you a satisfaction that your product, your assortment is relevant, and I'm keeping them now. Similarly, my father used to enjoy, a few years back, used to enjoy something like a Campa Cola. It's no more there. It's coming back now, right? But this guy also kept the Campa Cola only for my father. So there were some 50, 100 odd SKUs which he kept for such loyal customers who used to buy from him. So one fine day, and now I realize, we used to just pick up the phone, call him up. Those days even phone was rare. We used to call him up and say, Shanta uncle, ye list hai, ye 5 cheezein bhej do. Now this is my first interaction, right, of doing a digital e-commerce transaction. For me, this was actually started, not today. So when I look back today, I didn't realize that that's what I was doing. So a simple phone call to your the thing, and he delivering to your place is something which started as a transaction. And for me, e-com actually is a stepping stone towards something. Today we are all talking of platforms, we are all talking of multiple things, but it's very simple. All of us remember that until a few days back, before the COVID, if you walk into a supermarket next to you, and you just go there and tell him, Raju bhai, if the guy is Raju bhai, the store manager, you tell him, Raju bhai, thoda wazan zyada hai, can you deliver it to my place? Raju bhai is to happily deliver it to your place. Yeah. Or if you give Raju bhai a list of SKUs and Raju bhai is to send it to you, whatever. Or you use a WhatsApp and send it to Raju bhai. That's not very different from what we are talking of, right? You go and punch it on your smartphone, or you give a list to Raju bhai, or you just call somebody up and ask for something. I think it's all the same. It's ultra customer convenience coming into this. I think mom and pop. We talk of multiple businesses. We talk of today e-com players. We talk of supermarkets. But mom and pop player in India are here to stay, and they will thrive. They will only get smarter. They will embrace the digital era. They will actually use technology to their advantage, but they will thrive for a simple reason. The example which I gave you, the Shanta uncles of the world are always going to keep that one product which you value or you use. He is going to give ultra fast delivery. Your delivery cannot be as fast as any other e-com player cannot deliver it in 15 minutes. This guy is going to deliver you in 15 minutes. He is going to give you, he knows you personally, so there is some intimacy, there is some personal relationship in the overall scheme of things. Yeah. And he also gives you credit at times. He says, don't worry, I will take the monies from you later. So it's being experience. And in that sense, he has endless aisles for you. Because the moment you tell him, "Arey, aapke paas ye particular product nahi mila," next time he is going to make that product available for you. So what more can you ask for? So I think this is an interesting way of looking at businesses, and look at this kind of businesses. They will, with some of the technological advances and with some of the retailers tying up with them, this mom and pop stores are going to be some of the game changers of tomorrow. They will obviously be under some umbrella, or they will be smarter, but let me tell you, they will thrive in this overall scheme of things. So I think let's start with let's go to the next slide. Okay, so key trends driving online retail. Yeah. Okay, so this is all of you know this. I'm just setting the context for ourselves. These are the three factors which are which actually lead to acceleration of digitalization and digital e-com happening. Mobile internet explosion, all of us know, 600 million internet users. Just 4 years back, the number was just half of this, right? So, Jio brought in the revolution from a 167th in the world. We've today become the the number one user of mobile data in the world. And we use around, if I know the number well, it's around 11 to 12 GB data usage. And this is going to double from here in the next 5 years. So 2025, an average Indian would be using 25 GB data per month. That's huge. That's huge. That's almost a GB per day on an average. And this internet users are going to be from 1.1 billion. So almost 75% of India is going to use internet. And we all know this young millennial populations. I respect these shoppers because they are curious. They are very exciting shoppers. They are curious. You can easily convert them if you tell them the benefit of the product. If you give them a great quality product, you convince them, and they are the first ones to try. The people like us who are from an older generation will take their own time. Sochte hai, dekhte hai. This young kids are, they immediately try. They're in that sense, they are adventurous. They try new products, and of course the rising income and all this, really brings in brings in that perspective. Yeah. So I think let's go to the next slide. Okay. Just coming to one moment. I'm not able to see this thing. Okay, one moment. I will just minimize this. Okay, now it's okay. Okay, so coming to all these factors actually result into evolution of retail. This is a global context, but a lot of these things apply to India. Look at this. You start with generation one, Gen 1, which is the small mom and pop stores, retail just evolving. Gen 2 is, of course, the Carrefours and Walmarts, the supermarkets, essentially, which evolved during the 1980s, 75, 80s, and 90s in India. Yeah, and then the Gen 3 is the small box stores and also the marketplaces where intermediaries played a part. And of course, now the Gen 4 where we are. And I'm not going to talk more here because I think it's very exciting to understand. It's a very, very simple yet complex model when we talk of this Gen 4, because it's going to be all over. There is no particular model which is evolving. The only model which I can say, and there are some few models which I foresee happening in the next few years, and those models probably are not even in their early stages today. So we'll talk about it. But a country like India is not about Gen 1, Gen 2, Gen 2. Multiple of these things we have jumped and actually taken the learning to the next level. So we are actually jumping across generations of retail. And of course, we say that fast adopters will always win the race. Here you have to be a fastest to win the race, and we'll talk about it why. Okay, let's go to the next one. Okay, now this is very interesting, and in fact, I have an opinion on this. While we talk about the first lot, which is the brick and click, essentially the brick and mortar retailers who actually adopted the e-com as this thing. So we are not pure e-com players. Retailers like Reliance, retailers like DMart are not essentially e-com players. We have actually formulated a hybrid model, and we will talk about it, what that model is. And this model is very interesting because it has a physical presence and it has a digital interface. Yeah, and this model is a next gen model, which I'm saying is evolving now. Because I will tell you the difference between us and the e-grocers like Big Bus. I will talk more about grocery retail because that's where I belong. Yeah, so Big Baskets and Amazon Pantries and Grofers, we all know them, right? So, grocery is something which is going to boom in the next few years. This has already happened to general merchandise or apparel, fashion. This is already, you look the Amazons of the world, Flipkarts of the world, and you find this category is actually going through the roof. Now is the time where grocery is going to be very, very big. If you look at the proposition, grocery is around 40-45% of the total business overall as basis the consumption data. But when you look online, grocery is still very, very small, minuscule, right? But now is the time where grocery is booming, and the coronavirus has actually brought in the speed of acceleration here, and we'll talk about it. We will talk about it, why a model like Reliance Retail, which is the JioMart model, is very different, or a DMart model, which is very different. DMart, I'm talking of DMart Ready or Nykaa or something of that sort. Now, this model has a physical presence where you go to a store and you know that you interact with that person called Anil Gupta in the store, who's the store manager, right? And this Anil Gupta is known to you. So your experience in the store is related to the experience which Anil Gupta has given you. But online, Big Basket, you do not know someone. It's an impersonal business model, right? Whereas this is a hybrid model which has a personality to it, where you know the retailer, where oh, last time I know this Anil Gupta, he actually he helped me so much. So there is a level of trust with your the store which you love, the store which you shop regularly. So that's one part of it. Yeah. So I think this is a model which is very different, and let's talk more about it. E-grocery, of course, we all know about it. Vertical players will all, these are all this thing which are specialized in a particular category. So First Price specializes in baby, or a Nykaa specializes in beauty, so on and so forth. Horizontal players, we all know, Amazon has one size, they have everything under one roof. So does Flipkart, Snapdeal. So, these are horizontal player having a wide range of assortment, merchandise, and experience. Then there is a D2C, direct to customer, the stores. Samsung has recently started this service. Beardo has it in a smaller way, though. Mamaearth is a very large player in this thing. So, and then you also have a B2B model, which is the Jumbo Tails and Amazon businesses. And these are models which are evolving, right?
Okay.
And now we also see a B2B2C model. So hold yourself for some time. We'll talk more about it. A B2B2C is a new model which is evolving, and it's going to be the next game changer in retail arena. Yeah, and of course we all know that Paytm and Jio supports the ecosystem when it comes to payment, shoppability, convenience, and all of that, right? That's what we we say. Coming to the retail evolution in India, for us, we believe it starts with Kirana, it goes to supermarket, then the digital era, and today is a time where hyperlocal models have evolved. In this post-COVID era, I think it's the hyperlocal model which will play a large part, and we'll all understand what hyperlocal model is about. There is also, the next level of hyperlocal model, which is also, and it's not a pure hyperlocal model, it's a smart model which is evolving. We can decide what we call that model, but we'll talk about it. Right, so this is the journey of where we were, the mom and pop kirana to a hyperlocal model, which we are talking of right now. And hyperlocal has huge advantages, especially in a country like India. Yeah, let's go to the next one. Okay, I take one step back, and I think this is this is what we we are modern retail. We say that we are supermarkets, we are modern retail. We proudly say that we are first mile of demand creation. Yeah, we are not the last mile of supply chain. Now, if you understand this terminology, it's very important, because everything, be it related to the category strategy, be it the customer understanding, be it the be it planning in store, everything changes when it comes to when you say that we are first mile of demand creation. How does it impact? Because in India, most of the categories are in early stages. The customer penetration of most of the categories is very, very low, right? Unlike in Western countries where the customer penetration is very high, in India, there's customer penetration and, of course, the consumption. You look at the category like chocolate, the customer penetration or consumption per customer is hardly anything. It's probably not even 5% of what a US consumes. Look at beverages, cold beverages. I think it's not even 2% of what the Western world consumes. So modern trade actually acts as a demand creation chain, and not as the last mile of supply. Last mile of a supply chain is the categories are matured and just ensure that the supplies are happening, and that's about it. Your life is sorted. You don't have to do anything as a retailer, right? Here is where exciting. We are all growing at very high growths. We are creating demand. We are creating in a store. We actually look at customer decision trees. We do planograms. We incentivize the customers to buy more products. So multiple of these things happening. It's very exciting. And please, if you are a 30-year-old or 25-year or 40-year-old person, please take one step back and look. Just take a walk in your home and see what all has actually, some of these categories which have actually got created in the last 3 to 5 years. They did not even exist a few years back. So I can tell you so many examples. You talk of liquid detergent. Few years back, none of us knew what liquid detergent about. Now even the pods, detergent pods are coming in, right? You talk of something like body wash. This category did not exist few years back. We are all using only soaps and beauty soaps and all that, right? You talk of mouthwash, you talk of so many categories. Even hand wash started just 10, 15 years back. So in the last 5 to 10 years, with modern trade becoming big, many of these categories have actually evolved and have started being big. And this has increased the consumption. This has led to acceleration of premiumization. So you actually you just watch out what was there a few years back. And if you are going to be a serious professional in retail, I would recommend you something. एक काम कीजिए आप आपके in your washroom or your kitchen or your bedroom, just take a snap of whatever products are available today, and 10 years later, that one snap is going to be valuable for you when you take the next snap 10 years back after a decade and say, look what I have today. There will be multiple categories which would have been created and you would not even recognize कि 10 साल पहले क्या था. It's going to be very, very fast, guys. So please watch out for what's happening here. And, it's going to be an exciting journey for all of us. Okay, so let's go to the next slide. Narasimhan. Okay, this is a famous this thing. And, we've seen this. Why do we call shopkeeper in law and shopper bahu? There is a reason behind it. You see this photograph and you know what I'm referring to. We all saw this kirana, right? This is a kirana next doors, right? And this person, the shopkeeper, stands there right at the entrance as a hurdle for you to go around and shop. So he decides what you need to buy. He decides what he needs to sell to you. And he's in that sense a barrier for your shopping and expanding the categories. He gives you only something which is available in this 200 square feet store. He does not induce you to buy more. And that is where some of the category creation over the years did not happen, because we were all engaging with a 200 square feet store. Nothing wrong with it. I think it's a lot of advantages, like I spoke about it, right? But just go to the next one. And here we are. Today, this is the shopping atmosphere we have. We have a huge choice and option available. We can look and feel and smell the product, and we can decide which product to buy. We call it fondly the monthly Swayamvar of brands. You know what Swayamvar is? Swayamvar is about the bride going and selecting whom she would like to wed. So here is where you as a shopper go and decide and say, this is the product I would love to buy. Among a plethora of brands there. So every product has to look beautiful. They have to be exciting for you to buy, to catch up your attention, and multiple things happen here. So I think there is clearly a freedom of choice, experience, and while we all create value in the overall scheme of things. Yeah, let's go to the next one. And this is the digital shopping syntax. We're talking about this is how we get to experience, and I'm sure all of us are familiar to all of this, right? Go to the next one. Okay, so I'm going to talk about new normal post COVID. Believe me, guys, COVID has completely changed the way we as retail professionals can look at our business. And as we say that necessity is the mother of inventions. So a few months back, we were all, cornered. We were all, we were looking at and saying, oh, my business has dropped 50%. My business has dropped 30%. Look what's happening. I don't even know whether the customer is going to come to my store. Let's go to the next slide. I'm going to slightly do it because I think we have less time. I will take it slightly faster. Okay, so this is what around 85% of the customers, right here, say that they are concerned or extremely concerned going and shopping in a store. Now this is where we looked at this data and said, look, this is what the customer is saying. She's not going to come to my store, right? So this is what actually led us to really start thinking that what are the alternate ways of actually creating ensuring that the customer gets the product she wants. Go to the next one. Okay, and this is about saying that during the post-COVID, the e-com platforms have exploded. So the specialty e-com players have actually made it big. The customers bought more frequently from them. And look at the food grocery deliveries, this thing, and you get your answer. 57% of the customers have bought more frequently from e-com player. And this was not all. They actually bought 40 to 50% higher per bill. So that also led to, so this 57% customers bought more, and actually the e-com business or e-commerce business actually exploded during this time. They were not even ready to supply. They had their own set of challenges. Right, so this was an opportunity we all saw here. Okay, go to the next one. Now here is where hyperlocal commerce is what we are talking of. We are talking of bridging the gap between online and offline, and I will talk about it. On the left side, you see the big baskets and grofers of the world who are essentially online players, and they supply from a fulfillment center. They have one central DC from where they supply from. And here we are, just ignore the right side model at this point of time, because this is a model which is going to evolve in future. And this model is very different from what I'm going to talk to you right now. I am going to talk to you about JioMart. JioMart is about saying that a store, you into a Reliance Smart or Reliance Fresh store, you buy from there, you trust the store for what it delivers, the customer experience, the assortment, the pricing, the freebies, all that you love, shopping in that store. You own the store in that sense. Here is a JioMart, right? Online platform which offers you all that I offer you in a store. So you don't have to come to my store now. You can get everything in my store at the same cost what you were getting before. So here is where JioMart was born. JioMart B2C model was born. The right side model is JioMart B2B2C. I will talk about it. So JioMart B2C model is simple. For us, okay, I define, for me, I think a customer is a human being and a smartphone. If you ask me who's a customer, it's just a human being and a smartphone, and that's about it. Right. So I think, and the generation sitting here would agree with me. Yeah. So I think for us, the moment I give you an app which says that, okay, now you have all the convenience to buy everything online, yeah, at the same price or the same experience which you get in my store, you are more than happy. What is the advantage with somebody like us? I give you everything, right from fruit and vegetable to staples to FMCG to everything under one roof, right? So I think you love buying it because then you get it from one person. You trust me, you always come to my store. We're going to talk about some of the experiences there and some of the insights I will share with you, and then you can correlate with what I'm speaking. So that's about JioMart B2C. That's a model which is evolved. We actually did this, fast forwarded this model, and today it has become one of the largest lever on which we rode, and we came back to normalcy very, very fast. Today we are talking of huge growths coming in our business, but largely due to this new model which has evolved. So it was a fantastic experience and fantastic journey in the last few months, and I think people like us really, so I have with me Narsimhan, who's also a reputed institution, pass out last year from this thing, and he is already on the way to becoming a assistant category manager, managing a large category here. So I think he's closely seen this journey with us. He's closely seen the journey and he's experienced this journey. I'm sure he would have gained at least 5 to 10 years of experience just experiencing this journey with us, right? So okay, coming to the right side model which we are talking of is a very different model. Now look at what is your Kirana good at? What is your mom and pop store good at? I spoke about it. They are very good at immediately delivering fast deliveries. They are good at keeping assortment which you want. They are good at developing relationship with you, right? What are they not so good at? They are not so good at, they don't offer you any promotions. Do they offer? No, they don't, right? They don't give you endless aisles. They don't give you many SKUs. They have a limitation of keeping the SKUs because they can probably keep 1,000 SKUs maximum. Small store, right? They don't offer you value promotions. They don't offer you modern trade packs which is more value for the value conscious customer who actually increases the, which upgrades the shopper. They don't give you promos to really buy and buy more, right? So I think what people like us did, JioMart was JioMart B2B2C. So we supply it to the Kirana store nearby you. We actually convert his store in and give it a modern look, right? He has a Jio MPOS, right? Mobile POS, on which the moment you go on the JioMart, you actually get to see. This is only available right now. The service is available to people who actually stay near some of these Kiranas where this is executed. You get to see that Gupta General Store next to you. You can click on the Gupta General Store. You see the product list there. The moment we have two divisions there. One product list where Gupta General Store actually stores the product. So all the daily essentials like your bread, milk, eggs, and a lot of staple items, chocolates, chips, biscuits, all that he stores, for a day-to-day consumption. And then there are set of SKUs you would see. So you would see around 5,000 SKUs in a Gupta General Store, right? Out of which 1,000 SKUs, if you order any of those 1,000 SKUs, you get the delivery immediately in the next 1 hour from Gupta General Store. The other SKUs which you order, Gupta General Store delivers you in 24 hours or 48 hours. Gupta General Store gets this product from our own DC's distribution center, and he then supplies the product to you. So Gupta General Store does not have to invest in inventory. He does not have to do anything. He has to just ensure, because his POS and my system is linked. I get to know every day what Gupta General Store has got order. The order is auto placed and I deliver him at the end of the day or next day morning. So you have these things. 1,000 SKUs which he keeps there, you get it from him immediately. And the other 4,000 SKUs, which ideally you wouldn't get from a Gupta General Store. Now you get those product. Your experience is enhanced through a JioMart this thing. So it's a model which is amazingly, which is getting an amazing response. So I am actually empowering a Gupta General Store to ensure that he gives you great value, he gives you great assortment and endless aisle experience. So Gupta General Store now has many more SKUs. He also can operate promotions on MPOS. Previously वो आपको ऑफर नहीं देता था, अभी उसको ऑफर देना पड़ेगा आपको. So you can actually end up buying and the offer then gets credited to Gupta General Store account. So जो दो उसके सबसे बड़े ये थे कि वो प्रमोशन नहीं चलाता था, right? And जो वो आपको endless बड़ा assortment experience नहीं देता था, that will be taken care of when you buy from Gupta General Store. So we are actually making Gupta General Store much more smarter than what he was. We are making him future ready. We are making him ready to. We are empowering him to be ready for countering any of the other modern trade stores. Otherwise, you will find Gupta General Store few years down will actually his sale will go down and he will have a challenge, because a smart shopper like you wants more now. You are more demanding these days. The customers are more demanding. So I think that's what this model is, a B2B2C. Yeah, and I also spoke about B2C model, which is a JioMart. And we'll talk about it as a hyperlocal model. Okay, let's go to the next one. Okay, and of course, we all know that artificial intelligence is driving customer engagement and trade spends. How is it doing? Look, there are multiple hidden customer marketing opportunities which are aided by artificial intelligence. So machine learning, artificial intelligence has actually gotten into our lives of retailers, and we are using them to our advantage to leverage the marketing opportunities, and that's going to happen more and more, right? We also create promotions which are pre-identified customer cohorts. So what happens is Amit, you are a shopper in a particular stores. Right? You don't have to. So I know your shopping list. Actually, through artificial intelligence, I use the AI to the advantage to define a shopping list, predefined shopping list for you. And the moment I give you a shopping list and say, look, this is what is your monthly consumption. Would you like to buy this? So out of the 50 SKUs, you say, okay, this 5 SKUs I don't need. The balance 45 gets ordered. You can just press a button and it gets ordered. So I'm making life easy for you. I'm giving you the options which you normally prefer. The next level of that, I also decide the frequency. So I know Amit buys a particular product from me after 2 months. Yeah. So after every 2 months, after every alternate cycle, I suggest Amit a particular detergent powder, because I know he's going to buy 4 kgs from me. I suggest him his pack. I also tell him that, look, you have a 200 rupee off for this when you buy it right now from me. So this intelligence comes into picture. Demand forecasting. India is, a poorly distributed company. A demand forecasting is very, very essential for us. And I think AI is going to aid and is aiding a big time when it comes to demand forecasting. And of course, one big thing is analyzing the campaign performance and using the trade fund effectively. So the promotions, today we are very, very inefficient in it. Let me admit this. I think the more AI we use, the intelligence we use, I think we are going to be more intelligent in terms of our spending and the spending. So we know that which geographies actually can, need this kind of money, is this kind of, so I think it's a very nice way of looking at things. It also increases it sharpens the customer value proposition for a retailer. And what more can you ask for, right? So I think it's going to be very, very exciting. Let's go next. Okay, coming to, and we say this, that winners are going to, the winners are those who are going to deliver great and consistent customer experience. So 4 buckets, simple, right? Order tracking and ensuring on-time delivery, right? So the joy of delivery is, so you have a delivery slot and I deliver on time so that you are not inconvenient. Right? I don't charge you. Here we say low per order fee. I say no per order fee. I don't charge you for ordering at home. Right? I have to have that relationship where I charge no fees for you to, because paying fee is not accepted. We don't like somebody charges us for parking when you go to a shopping mall. We spend $1,000 on eating out, but we don't be charging us 25 rupees. But we don't like the model. We say this is my right, it's not a privilege. Okay, so low per order fee, sorry, this has to be no per order fee. Yeah, online and in-store price parity. Okay, please don't overcharge me if you are going to deliver it at my home. You are then not a trustworthy retailer for me. Charge me the same as you deliver me in the store. Right, I am going to see this, and this is very, very critical, guys. I have come across a journey of retail. Right, we've created smart, if you know, smart superstores or smart hypermarkets. Those were, we were all part of the core committee which created that format, and this format is growing at the highest pace in Indian retail history, and that's only based on one principle: trust. Once you try to be smart and try to ditch your customer or charge little, she is smart, she will never forgive you. I have so many, I can talk about it for hours and hours. We'll have it in some other session, but I think it's very interesting. Please don't be transparent and honest in your pricing. Don't try to be smart. The customer is smarter than you. Okay, and expanded assortment. I talk about endless aisles, but endless aisles does not exist today in this country. We are talking about a very, very large assortment and a great experience in terms of assortment. Right? Let's go to the next one. Okay, I'm going to talk about few learnings, physical and digital. I will, I think we'll have to hurry up. So we have few more slides. What I will do is I will go through some of these experiences very, very fast. Okay, our online, this is the real shopping behavior. I'm sharing you something which has happened in our stores and online, and this is real for you. Okay, online shopping behavior is very similar to physical store, slightly premium. So, I'll give you an example of Parle-G Gold. Parle-G Gold was the pack which Reliance and Parle-G developed together. This was developed for Reliance, Parle-G Gold 1 kg, right? Today, online, 70% of my, sales happen through Parle-G Gold and not through the iconic Parle-G brand, right? In store, it is 40% on Parle-G Gold and 60% the iconic Parle-G brand, but online it is 70%, guys. So it is more premium customers buying here online. People buy more Pears and Dove online as compared to Lux. In store, it's slightly different. Yeah, in store also premiumization has happened, but online it's slightly different. almost 50% shoppers are shopping in our stores, and you know this, and but the win is about saying that the people who shop with us, online and in stores, the spend actually goes up to 33% higher. And yeah. And what we have done is everything which you see in our stores, all the properties, be it hotspot property or be it bonus Budwar property or be it the large pack and kitted pack, all this we have online at the same price, at the same value. So the customer looks at it, she has seen you in the store, the same products, same properties, and now she sees online and she enjoys shopping from there. And the current average bill value is almost similar, which a much, much lesser assortment. The moment we increase the assortment, this is going to go multifold. Next, Nasiman. Okay. The customer retention is very high. The stickiness and loyalty. I strongly believe that no loyalty credit, no card or nothing gives you loyalty. आप customer को बांध के नहीं रख सकते हो. The loyalty is about consistent customer experience, and you are as good as your last experience. If you try to be over smart in your experience, she's going to give it back to you. Right? So please, I think this is something we should remember all the time. You have to work, transparently, honestly for your customer, and she will find out ways to reward you. Okay. We have, unlike many other players, we are into multiple cities. We are in fact in 200 cities, but more than half of our orders beyond the top 10 cities. So that's a big win for us, where most of these online players do not even exist. Customer like and trust us when they get to know that their order is coming from the store. They already know, so there is an element of intimacy. There is an element of, connect. There is a strong connect. There is a strong bonding between the store and them, and they love when they get it from there. But sorry, you can't overcharge them. Still, you can't overcharge them because they have trusted you. Okay. And groceries, of course, we all know that it's becoming the entry price point for e-com, whether we from YouTube or WhatsApp or whatever. Let's go ahead. Okay. And these are some of the examples of how online shopping is accelerating premiumization. So muesli has become 21 share of the total category. Now this is huge. I spoke about Parle-G Gold, Dark Fantasy. You talk of Pear and, Pears and Dove. In a general trade is only 7% of the total business in soaps, whereas in a modern trade it is well above 20%. Yeah, so look at what. So actually, it's a win for everyone. It's a win for Hindustan Unilever, the manufacturer. It's win for the retailer because we also make more monies when we sell, and it is a win for a customer because they get a superior experience through a premium product. Liquid detergent, 20% share, and look at Saffola. It's exploded from 5% to 20%. So this is what we are talking of premiumization. This is because online, and it's also because post-COVID, people buy products which they consume themselves, right? And they are very conscious about it. So I think both have actually aided in this. Yeah, let's go ahead. Okay, online value equation. I'll just take next 5 minutes to finish this, and then we can take any questions or something if you have. Okay, so this for us, online value equation is about very clear. We have 3 levers here. Shopper path to purchase, which is essentially driving traffic, right? Aiding them for search and filters and navigation. We come to the conversion, which is about, how do you essentially convert the customers, content, assortment, rating and reviews, and price and promotions. And of course, basket and retention, which is, and all adds up and gives value to a customer. So let's go to the first thing, which is shopper path to purchase. I think all these platforms, which is the Google or Facebook, YouTube, this all aid in building the traffic to the store. If you utilize them, if you tie up with them, actually they help the customer to navigate effectively, and they also help the customer to. So they help the retailer to build the traffic. And we all know this. So I'm going to not talk so much about it. And okay, let's go to the next one. Okay, and here now this is the one which is when you look at the search is very important online, and we all know this, right? I know where I can find a product in my store which I regularly visit, but I don't know how to find the product effectively online. there are so many new customers online. You have to help them navigate. You have to help them find their own category, right? So correct brand names, correct category search words which are more relevant, right? And one big point, very, very big point, vernacular search also is very, very important, right? This is very critical, because if you know, and I will talk some examples. Just go to the next one, the vernacular search. Look at this. Just look at this. For a Britannia Good Day biscuit, we have biscuit, biscuit, Jim Jam, nice time. Look at the spellings and you will all be zapped. We are keeping on upgrading this. So there is a local language. So local AP guy would spell it very differently from a local Punjab guy. You know, so you have to have a local vernacular search words updated. This is intelligent search optimization, right? And it applies to every single category. These words, you might find them quite weird, but these are what the customers search your this thing. If they don't find it, they make a you know, the perception that the product is not available, right? So this is a humongous this thing. Let's go to the okay, navigation based on shopper decision tree. Now, if at all sometime we talk about, I'm sure you know what is shopper decision tree or customer decision tree. It's a very systematic approach to category management. We will at some other point, because it requires a different session about educating people like you on what a customer decision tree is about, how do we define planograms, how do we aid shopping and all of that. But, you know, it is basis the shopping decision tree. It's a very, very systematic. So people like us have reinvented the tool, and we say it's not science anymore, it's a mix of science and art, right? But it's very interesting. We also use the category signpost, the top 3 brands which you recognize. So scrolling navigation, it helps the are very critical, right? So it's about shopping decision tree. It is about using the right signpost to you and to identify a product category. Go to the next one. Okay, going to immediate conversion, instant gratification. Go to the next one. Yeah, look at this. If you look at the pack, you know what product I see. Here the slight constraint is you can't see the product yourself. You can't touch it, you can't feel it, you can't smell it while you're buying. So you have to be very sure what you're buying. You have to be. So I actually aid you when you shop. You know, whether it's you know, the title, whether it's the product description, whether it is the images from all the sides, so I think all this actually, it has to be relevant. It has to be more precise for the customer to look at it. And so you are, in a way, you are an assistant to the customer. You are aiding them by this. Make it interesting, but stay relevant. Don't exaggerate on any of this these things, because then you will lose your trustworthiness. Yeah. Go to the next one. Okay. Finally, coming to assortment and availability. All that we spoke, if you do not have the right assortment, all that is meaningless. So you have the clear, this thing is get the relevant and right assortment, ensure that the product availability is there all the times, ensure that if it is limited thing, communicate to the customers, show them the toggles and all of that, and ensure that the customer shopping interaction, shopping journey is very, very pleasant and very, very truthful. Yeah. Okay. Let's go to the next one. Okay, and of course, the rating and reviews, we all know the price and promotion plays a very important part. The shopper doesn't like a pricing which is high as compared to the competition, or they do not like a pricing which they said कि last time मैंने 100 rupees off में buy किया था, this time you are not giving me a good this thing. You have to be consistent in your pricing approach. I think that's one of the learnings we had, and we try to stick to this this customer you know, demand, I would call it. And of course, communication of savings and all that has to be very, very clear. So as retailers, we keep on improving, we keep on you know, exciting all that. And I think this is a journey where every step which you take ensures that the customer gets more satisfaction and delight. Okay, let's go to the next one. Okay, and coming to basket and retention. Okay, yeah, go ahead. Yeah. So here we say ki on large packs or basket SKUs, how do you incentivize the shopper to buy more? How do you give good suggestions? How do you have affinity of the products or the bundles? How do you communicate them the offers very effectively? You know, so multiple of these things, actually the savings and offers, how do you help them form their own shopping list? You know, you have to make their shopping, you know, convenient at every step of this journey. Right. So there is an effort behind this. which we take on a day-to-day basis, and people like us who are we call ourselves merchants, right, who actually own the whole business. We manage the whole business, right from ensuring what has to be bought till the final customer experience. And so people like us always are very close to all these things, which are thick of the things which happen. Yeah, go to the next one, Nasim. So I think I'm sure you would have some questions in your mind. I'm happy to address them if I can. The other thing which I must tell you, and for some of the students of retail, and for some of you who plan to make a career in retail, I tell you that the next decade or next 2 decades are going to be very, very exciting, very interesting ones for you. If you are someone who loves accepting challenge, if you are someone who gets excited about interacting with, if you are someone who loves a mundane job of 9 to 5, please don't be in retail. If you have the passion, if you have, you say, I'm going to go beyond my call of duty and I'm going to have great customer insights. If I'm going to, so I think if you are someone who is passionate about retail, retail is for you. I can tell you that it's a great career option. I've been a FMCG professional before, and today I'm a retail professional. But I can tell you it's a very rewarding, a very empowered career. Very empowered career. No one has more power than you than in retail. Every day is a different day. No day is boring. No day, you have so many things to do. And it teaches you, it makes you humble. It teaches you a lot of humility, because you are a sevak to your customers. So I can only tell you, guys, if you really decide to go get into retail, I can endorse this career opportunity for you. I can tell you, please take the first step, but be passionate about what you do. Get into the learning mode, and next few years, just seek there, just get into what you can learn from this industry. This industry has huge, and I think the big one is yet to come. Believe me, some of these models which we spoke about are yet to actually see a full, spectrum of what's going to happen. Consumption in the next decade is going to really be very, very big, guys. I can tell you that. I can really tell you. So you will see more opportunities than people like us. And I'm sure people who have the passion to excel will succeed in their career. So all the best from my side. Any questions? I'm happy to take any questions.
Sir, this is Aniket here. First of all, I'd like to thank you from student side, like you gave us such an insight of retail. Sir, my question is more specific toward the consumer behavior. As per the McKinsey report, it is saying that 96% of the consumer has changed their brand in this pandemic. And you rightly said that winner are those who deliver the good experience. My concern is, yesterday we came to know that from our PM that the vaccine is going to come in market, and we are expecting that coming 6 months, we all are like, the COVID is kind of a history for us, like what he's saying. Are we changing any kind of, seeing any kind of change in the consumer behavior again? Because right now we are more focused on digital. We had seen like everything is up. The revenue is going for that. We are also kind of, what is strategy we are making for digital? So again, after 6 months, are we going to see the same scenario what is happening like 1 year back, or it will, how the company is taking it, how the strategy for how companies maintaining that? Because I'm sure like physical outlet will again come to boom after some certain time.
So Aniket, very good question. I think very good question. Probably you have 2 or 3 questions embedded into one, but let me try and answer. Okay. What has happened is, people have shifted brands for a simple reason that in the first few months after COVID stuck, the brands were not available in the market. So people, what they did was, and the other proposition, when they came to my store, right? And I'm just giving you example, if they did not find their favorite brand of noodle in my store, they did not change the store. They said, whichever brand is available, I will pick that one, but I will not take the risk of going to one more store and get infected, because they were concerned. So stores like us, which offered right from everything under one umbrella, which is right from fruit and vegetables to everything, to staple, to FMCG food, to home and personal care, to general merchandise, actually thrived during this time. Stores which were nearby your place actually thrived. So the first answer is, Products were not available, did not get bought. People bought whatever was available. That's the first answer. The second thing is, yes, we are seeing consumer behavior changing and people adopting to multiple categories, which are, so for example, many of us have bought honey, Chyawanprash, so many other health and wellness, do it yourself. DIY is one which has happened, right? We don't go to the salons, we color our hairs ourselves. So many things have evolved. Now, is it real? Is it going to stay here? I think we are all curious, professionals. I suspect that some of these behaviors are going to stay here forever. Some of the behaviors we will go back to our normalcy, right? So if you made pizza at, I've sold so many pizza bases during this time. I have sold so much of mozzarella cheese during this time. So when we made pizza at home and suddenly you realize that you make amazingly tasty pizzas, right? You are going to stick to those pizzas even after COVID, right? When you get the the pizzas from outside, you are going to still stick to those. You may still order from outside, but you're not going to always order pizzas outside, because now you have discovered that you make very good pizzas at home, right? So I think some behavior is going to change forever, but no fear. I think more and more categories have evolved. The mix has changed. In fact, I was talking to Rajiv sir also. I think the mix have changed. And I think we are all seeing a very exciting journey happening. So there's nothing to fear. This behavior keeps on. In fact, one distinct is this behavior keeps on changing every year, every 2 years, right? It has changed all for the good. So the category mix has changed. The behavior has changed. Some of this behavior will stay, but people will go back to normalcy as well. So there is no right or wrong answer. It depends on person to person. I hope I have tried to answer as much.
Yes, sir. I got it. Thank you so much.
Hello, sir. Good evening, sir. This side Swapnil Arora.
Hi, Swapnil.
So I'm a second year student from PGDM Retail Management. So, sir, first of all, thank you for your valuable time, and the insights provided by you were absolutely commendable. So, sir, there is a question which bothers me a lot, sir. Like in today's era, where everything is like digitized and people, especially retailers, are more and more focused towards developing their e-commerce channels or omni-channel strategies. So, sir, don't you think that somewhere or the other, like physical retailers are forgetting their physical platforms, which cannot be substituted by the online platforms? I mean, sir, the development of physical retail in terms of our technological advancements is, I guess, somewhere or the other lacking. So, sir, I wanted to know your views on the same.
So, Swapnil, we have, my views are very clear. Like I said, mom and pop stores will also exist and thrive in a country like India. Yeah, we have enough and more population which can probably have all these formats next to each other, and everybody does well. How many people shop in physical stores, right? There are right now still 90% of the people shop in. I'm talking of villages, I'm talking of rural, I'm talking of everything. Still more and more people shop in physical store, right? And it's going to be, see, look, if you're going to buy your fruit and vegetable, right? And with, if you are lady of the house, you love to be checking the quality of the product before you buy it, right? So when you go out and you decide that I want to buy the freshest of the apple, right? Looking at the product, I'm going to go and pick the best of the products. So I think it's not easy to completely replace any of this format. Physical stores will do well. Most of the physical stores will now be hyper-local model or a hybrid format, which will also deliver to your home through this thing. So I think this model is going to be a very, very different model. They may not be independent physical stores anymore in future, in a long future, right? But physical stores will also do well. There will be specialty stores which will evolve, and these stores will really, and they will also bring in economies of scale. They will bring in good quality for you. They will try and define their own ways of creating the competitive advantage. So these stores are not going to go anyway. In a country, 130 crore country, I think shopping is going to boom. I think the consumption is going to boom in the next few years. So I think there is nothing to worry about physical store not doing well or digital store doing well, or all these formats are going to do well. Yeah.
Okay, sir.
You
Thank
have
you,
to
sir.
only, you have to keep evolving. You have to develop your model. You have to be very clear about what you are known for when you have a particular format that, will really set you apart. If you are not able to differentiate yourself, right? If your positioning is not right, then you have a existential problem. It's not because of whether a particular format or particular way, it's a more about your own model, right? So if your model is right, then a physical, digital, all formats are going to do well. Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Vishwajit, you can ask
Ma'am,
your question.
sure, ma'am. So, hello, sir. So, my question is, what could be the possible reasons behind accelerating the premiumization during this unprecedented times? For example, for a particular product, if a company is going for premium price, so what could be the reasons behind that?
What could be the reason behind acceleration of premiumization?
Yes, sir.
Simple reason. When you cook at home, yeah,
Yes, sir.
right? Aren't you careful about what you buy? Don't you buy the best of the oil for yourself? And especially during this time, you are so particular about your immunity, about your, look, it's about saying that, we are all value conscious customers. We may be at any SEC, right? Any socio-economic club, we are all Indians by nature are value conscious customers. So I think we all look at why is the Saffola Gold example which I gave you actually done well. For a simple reason, we offered value to a customer, but the customer said, well, I'm going to cook at home, I will use the best quality oil while I cook. See, what has happened is, you're not ordering anymore from the hotel nearby, right? A hotel nearby actually uses a normal quality oil, whereas you at home decide, and you're saving monies also. Believe me, the same, whatever paneer masala which you used to order from a hotel is to cost you $500. You made a yummy paneer, butter masala at home at maybe probably a fraction of that cost. So you are saving as well. And every weekend you go to a mall, you go to a movie, you do eating out, and all that money is saved. You have invested into your health. You have invested in premium products. This also gives you a little bit joy for yourself. We've all bought those little bundles of joy for ourselves. Sitting at home. So that is how, see, premiumization also happens naturally. Over the years, premiumization happens. But this was an accelerated premiumization because we, sitting at home, were getting bored. We said, let me bake a cake for myself. Let me treat myself on this. Let me do a biryani for myself. Let me do a pizza for myself. So this is where the premiumization happened. I bought a great quality mozzarella cheese. I bought excellent oil. I bought so many things which were premium. So I think that's how the premiumization happened. It happens. No? We all just look into your own home and get some of these answers.
Sure, sir.
Yeah.
I agree. Thank you so much for the inputs.
You're welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Raghav?
Yeah, good evening, sir. Thank you so much for taking out time for us today.
My pleasure.
And my question is, sir, given the items in the grocery category are more prone to perish, so how do you think can technology work as an enabler so that retailers do not lose on spoiled products, at the same time they maintain the same service level which they were offering? Since you also talked very briefly about better forecasting opportunity.
Well, the opportunities are immense, Raghav. I think, see, it is not about expiry. Okay, it's about freshness. Okay, expiry is no more. We are all very conscious about not giving an expired product to a customer. But if I am able to, as a customer, if I am able to give you the freshest of the product, I stand a clear competitive advantage over my competitors. So we build freshness. We ensure that technology helps us in our DCs to ensure that first expiry, first out product is kept and shipped first to the stores. My store does a first expiry, first out on the shelf, so that the first product you pick up is the oldest product available in the store. So I think multiple things happening on the shelf in DCs. There is a specialized supply chain team which works on this. So same thing happens at vendors end also. So the forecasting is getting accurate and the manufacturing process is getting robust, and all these processes actually help to ensure that the freshest of the stock reaches the customer. right? During this time, the supply chain collapsed. Everything collapsed during this time. But yes, things are back to normal now. But you will see more and more accurate forecasting, more and more demand forecasting, and more and more freshness happening. I think the time the customer looks at product, and believe me, some of the food products which you taste fresh are actually, you would love to buy them because the taste is very different. Especially in categories like fruit and vegetable, of course, but categories like dairy and categories like staples. Yeah, your dal has to be good quality dal. The dahi which you buy, the curd which you buy, if it is in the first 4 or 5 days, the taste is slightly different. It's more juicier. The cake you buy or the biscuit which you buy also, so I think multiple of these things. So I think there is no easy answer here. It's a complete supply chain effort and category effort in ensuring that this complete chain is taken care of.
Thank you.
Gautam?
Thank you, sir. Thank you for taking the time and aspiring new ideas for us. I have a question since due to the recent evolution, the future seems to be the era of companies with big pockets, which may leave the traditional mom and pop stores astray. So what are your thoughts on that, please?
So, Gautam, good question. Very good question. The traditional pop stores are getting smarter by the day. They will tie up with some of those chains and actually thrive under this thing because they clearly get an advantage of. So they have to be here and compete. They have their, like we spoke, they have their own advantages of being, in business. They will only, handhold some of the big retailers, and they will actually, they will do much better than what their predecessors have done. I can tell you that, because they get today, they get all the advantages which the modern trade offers today. If imagine all the benefits which the traditional trade offers you, your nearby mom and pop store offers you. If you add the advantages of a modern trade, you would surely love to buy from that store. So they are going to coexist. They are going to do well. Believe me.
Sure.
I'm quite hopeful and optimistic about them. Yeah.
Sure. Thank you, sir.
So we are taking the last question. Amar Kumar Singh.
Yeah.
Sir, who has better future in e-commerce, vertical players or horizontal players?
Very good question, Amar. The answer is both. Somebody who has a robust business model, somebody who has a clear positioning, has a better future. If you have a very transparent and trustworthy customer value, you know what exactly you stand for. You have a future. If you are a confused retailer, if you do not know what you stand for, if the customers do not know what you stand for, you are a vertical player or a horizontal player doesn't make. If you ensure that you have a robust infrastructure, if you have a supply chain which supports you fully, you have a backend which supports you fully, your aspirations, right? Then you have a future as a retailer. It's not about a horizontal or vertical player. Both will play in their own arena. A specialized vertical player will always have an advantage in their own arena, whereas a specialized all under one roof player also will have an advantage. So all these models are going to do well. It depends on what you want to be known for, right? So I think it's this thing where your model has to. Retail is not a very it's a model where every rupee counts for you. If you ensure that your model is the costing part is taken care of, the customer proposition, value proposition is taken care of, and your backend is taken care of, and the customer knows what your model stands for, any format does well. Any of this player would do well. It's about that.
Thank you.
So all that we hear about, only the big retailers, the deep pockets will survive and all that. See, some of these big retailers have become big over the years. Please understand that. They've been retailers and then they became big. So they have a robust model which has worked for them, right? And they have taken more right steps than wrong. right? And that's worked for them. I think so. It's nothing about saying that which. I think maybe some retailers like us would probably be in both the spaces, in vertical spaces and horizontal spaces, and why not? And both the models will talk two different languages, right? Till the time the customer knows what we stand for, I think everything works.
Sir,
Yeah.
can we have one more question, please?
Yeah, please.
Jesse, go ahead.
Good evening, sir. Thank you for sparing your time with us. It was great listening to you. Especially, I am positive that the retail students would have enjoyed hearing to you. Sir, as a part of Ajio's business, we are onboarding the unorganized part of retail into integral part of our supply chain, right, sir? So how difficult it is to forecast for them so that we can supply the right inventory at the right time?
Just come back with your question. I didn't understand the complete question. As part of what?
So we are onboarding the unorganized retail into our business, right, sir? We are trying to integrate them into our supply chain. So how difficult it is to forecast the inventory? What are the challenges that we face?
If I understand, Jesse, your question well, you are saying that if you onboard the unorganized player in your model, how difficult is to ensure that the supply chain takes care of their inventory part of their business. Is that right?
Yes, sir. So when you spoke about the Gupta stores, right? So when we want to give the right inventory for them.
So Jesse, the simple answer is, when and I will talk about myself, and of course other retailers also would take care of this thing. But when we work for Jio, we ensure that we have a robust technological advantage to build this whole thing. There is a huge technological thing which is built up where we have a clear edge there, and also backed up with a robust supply chain or DC or infrastructure built up. So today I can right now see कि गुप्ता जी के स्टोर में क्या इन्वेंट्री है, कितना बिका है, last 1 hour में what is that Gupta ji has sold in his store, what is the demand focus, how is the customer demand there, what will sell. So I can actually forecast basis the last 5 minutes back क्या हुआ वो भी मुझे पता चलता है. So there is a clear this thing built up which has happened, which ensures that we deliver consistent product availability to Gupta ji. And that is what we bring on the table, right? Because we know, we also advance forecast saying that Gupta ji ko humne ek particular promotion diya hai on a product. So Gupta ji is going to sell 50% higher than what we do. And then hum wo hisab se we ensure that the stock availability is there at Gupta ji's place. But jaise hi next day hame pata chalta hai ki 50 ki jagah 100% growth mila hai Gupta ji ko, next day again it gets corrected. So this is a dynamic model which works. It has a technology behind it, support behind it. Of course, it has a skill set of a merchant supporting it, and it also has a robust backend to support it. So we are very, and I can say this, not only us, everybody would have developed that model where I think, like we say, we are in a era where, technology helps you immensely in retail. So I think it's not that difficult once you have all your background work done properly. There is a lot of testing and piloting which has happened before this. We don't launch anything which is untested. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Now, Ruchita Yadav will be giving the vote of thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Nidhi ma'am. So I, Ruchita Yadav, on behalf of the team of CCR and the PlaceCom students, would like to express my sincere gratitude to you, sir, for first of all sparing your valuable time with us, then giving us a deep insight into this topic, which is correlating to the professional world, and then patiently answering all the questions of my classmates. So thank you so much, sir. I'm pretty sure that it will be a learning and an enriching experience for all of us here. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ruchita. I'm really, I'm quite, some of the intelligent questions. You guys have a very bright future, I must say. Thank you all, and thanks to the management team for giving me this opportunity to interact with you. And I can wish you. And before I conclude, I think let me thank Narsimhan for giving this uninterrupted experience during this thing. So Narsimhan, thank you so much. for being with me during this thing. And I think thank you so much and all the best. I'm available any point of time. If you need any help from my side, or if you have any doubts about anything, please do feel free to contact me. We'd be happy to help in any way I can. Yeah. So I think and all the best. Do well as we are all retail students. So keep doing well and stay in touch.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you, Saurabh sir. Thank you, Vallabh sir.
Thank you so
Vallabh,
much,
sir.
Rajiv ji.
It was great
Pleasure
learning from us
having
as
you,
well.
sir. Yes. And looking forward, sir. Looking forward to have you here again, sir. It was really, I think, a wonderful session, I must say. As a faculty of retail, I must say it's a wonderful session. Many things to, I think, a new way of looking at the conditions now, the market now, or the retail business now. Is I think you have given a very great insight, sir. Really, thanks, sir.
Thank you so much. My pleasure. Thank you so much, and thanks. Thank you, sir.
Thank
Okay,
you, sir.
thanks a lot. Thanks. I'm just signing out. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.